Christmas Eve, 1971. Seat 19F, window seat. Juliane Koepke, 17 years old, daughter of two German zoologists working in the Peruvian Amazon, had graduated from high school exactly one day earlier. She was flying home. The flight from Lima to Pucallpa was supposed to take 1 hour. 25 minutes in, the sky turned black. The turbulence hit first. Overhead bins burst open. Christmas gifts, bags, packages tumbled into the aisle. Passengers grabbed armrests. Juliane's mother Maria sat in the middle seat beside her and whispered something, hoping this would pass. Then the clouds swallowed the plane entirely and lightning cracked across the windows in rapid flashes, turning the cabin into a strobe of white and shadow. Juliane saw a bright flare on the left engine. A direct strike. Her mother's voice came one last time, calm and clear. "That is the end. It's all over." Those were the last words Juliane ever heard from her mother. The plane dropped into a nosedive. 91 people screaming, engines roaring. Then silence. Total silence. Juliane was no longer inside the aircraft. She was outside, in open air, still strapped to her row of 3 seats, spinning through 10,000 feet of nothing. The plane had not crashed yet. It had come apart around her. Below, the Amazon rainforest spiraled upward like a green ocean. She described it later as looking like broccoli, dense, endless, rising fast. Then she lost consciousness. She woke up on Christmas morning. Her watch read 9 a.m. She had been unconscious for nearly 20 hours. The first thing she registered was rain, warm, heavy, drumming on leaves above her. The second thing was pain. Her collarbone was broken. Her right eye was swollen shut. A deep gash ran down her right arm. Her knee ligament was torn. She was concussed, disoriented, lying under the 3-seat bench that had carried her from the sky. She was wearing a sleeveless cotton mini dress. The zipper was broken. One white sandal remained on her left foot. Her glasses were gone. Everything beyond a few feet was a blur. She called for her mother. The jungle answered with insect noise and bird calls and the drip of rain through 100 layers of green. No human voice. No wreckage visible. Just trees, massive, ancient, indifferent. Juliane Koepke was alone in the Amazon rainforest, injured, half-blind, with no food, no tools, no map, and no idea where she was. But Juliane was not an ordinary teenager. At 14, her parents had moved the family from Lima deep into the jungle to build Panguana, a biological research station. For 3 years she had lived in that forest. She knew which insects to fear. She knew which water was safe. And she knew one rule her father had drilled into her. The rule that would keep her alive for the next 11 days: follow water. Small streams flow into bigger ones. Bigger ones flow into rivers. People live on rivers. She found a small creek near where she had landed. She found something else. A bag of hard candies scattered from the wreckage. That bag was her entire food supply. She put the candies in her dress pocket, stepped into the water, and started walking downstream. Day 1 was about staying upright. The concussion made the world tilt. Every step sent pain through her collarbone. Her right eye was useless. She waded ankle-deep in the creek, using her one sandal to probe the ground ahead for stingrays hiding in the mud. The water was safer than the bank. On land, snakes hid under every leaf, and the undergrowth was so thick that 10 meters took 20 minutes. In the water she could move. Slowly, painfully, but forward. The jungle closed around her. Humidity sat on her skin like a wet cloth. The canopy above was so dense that by mid-afternoon the light faded to a green twilight. At night, the temperature dropped, and she shivered in her thin dress, curled against tree roots, listening to the orchestra of the Amazon, cicadas screaming, frogs calling, something large moving through brush she could not see. She did not sleep. She could not sleep. On day 2, the creek widened slightly. She ate 3 candies. The sugar hit her bloodstream and for a few minutes the world sharpened. She kept waiting. Mosquitoes found every exposed inch of skin. Ants crawled up her legs. She could feel something in the wound on her arm, a dull, writhing sensation beneath the skin. She did not look. Not yet. By day 4, the small creek had joined a larger stream. The current was stronger now, waist-deep in places. Julianne stayed in the center of the channel. Her father had taught her that stingrays preferred the shallows, and piranhas avoid fast-moving water. That knowledge kept her in the safest corridor, even as the water pulled at her weakened body. Then she saw the seats. 3 airline seats, still bolted together, half buried in the mud of the riverbank. 3 women still strapped in. They had landed headfirst with such force that their bodies were driven 2 feet into the soft earth. Legs pointed straight at the sky. Julianne froze. For a long moment she could not move. Then a single thought broke through. Was one of them her mother? She could not bring herself to touch the bodies. She found a long stick and used it to knock a shoe off one of the women. The toenails had nail polish. Her mother never wore nail polish. It was not her. Relief and grief hit simultaneously, tangled together in a way she would never fully untangle. Her mother was somewhere in this forest. Maybe alive. Maybe not. Julianne kept walking. That same day she heard the sound she had been waiting for, the drone of a search plane. She looked up through breaks in the canopy and saw it, a small aircraft circling the area. She waved her arms. She screamed. She broke branches and swung them in the one clearing she could find. The plane flew directly overhead. It did not see her. The canopy from above was an unbroken green carpet. From the air, a single girl in a stream was invisible. The plane banked and flew away. Julianne stood in the water and watched it go. Her watch stopped working on day 4. After that she counted days by sleep cycles, though sleep was Jenner's word for what she managed. An hour here, 30 minutes there, curled on gravel banks while the jungle hammered with rain and noise. The candies were gone by day 5. After that, nothing. She drank from the stream and kept moving. The hunger was not the worst part. The insects were. They were constant, relentless, everywhere. Mosquitoes left her arms and legs swollen with bites that itched until they bled. Beetles crawled into her hair. Botflies, she knew exactly what they were from her years at Panguana, had found the open wound on her right arm. She could feel the larvae moving beneath her skin now. Burrowing deeper. Growing. She counted the days and tried not to think about what was happening inside that wound. By day 7, her body was failing. The knee ligament made every step a negotiation with pain. The collarbone shifted when she moved her right arm. The concussion had faded but left behind a fog that made decisions slow and heavy. She was starving. She had not eaten in 3 days. She weighed less with every hour. The stream had become a proper river now, wide enough that she could float in the current and let it carry her, saving what little energy she had left. She floated on her back, staring up at the canopy, watching light filter through leaves, and she talked to herself. Not out of madness, out of discipline. Water first. Then keep moving. Then signal. Stay in order. Don't skip ahead. Every morning the same words. A ritual to keep her mind from unraveling. On the 8th day, she saw something impossible. A boat. An actual wooden boat pulled up on the riverbank, with an outboard motor and a path leading up the bank into the trees. She crawled out of the water and touched it. Real. Solid. Not a hallucination. She followed the path uphill and found a small thatched shelter. A seasonal camp used by local lumberjacks. Inside, a palm leaf roof, a wooden platform, and a barrel of gasoline for the boat motor. No one was there. She looked at the gasoline and remembered something, a memory sharp as glass. Years ago, at Panguana, her father treating the family dog. The dog had a wound infested with larvae. Her father poured gasoline into the wound to flush them out. The maggots suffocated and wriggled free. Julianne looked at her right arm. The wound had been open for over a week. The skin around it was inflamed, swollen, hot to the touch. She could see the larvae moving. She unscrewed the gasoline cap, tipped the barrel, and poured fuel directly into the gash. The pain was immediate and enormous, a burning that shot from her arm through her entire body. The maggots writhed toward the surface, trying to escape the fumes. One by one, she pulled them out with her fingers. She counted them as they came. 35. 35 larvae pulled from her own arm by a 17-year-old girl alone in a hut in the Amazon, running on zero food and pure will. She decided to stay in the shelter. If there was a boat, someone would come back for it. She lay on the wooden platform, too exhausted to move, and watched frogs in the trees above her. Her stomach screamed. She considered catching one. She could not find the strength. It was a mercy. Those were poison dart frogs. If she had eaten one, she would have died within hours. She lay there through the night. The 10th night since the crash. The jungle sounds she had once feared at Pandwana were now almost comforting, familiar voices in an alien silence. She stared at the thatched roof and thought about her mother. About her father waiting in Pucallpa, not knowing. About the 91 people who had been on that plane. About the 14 of them who had survived the crash. She did not know this yet, but they had been found dead in the jungle, unable to move, unable to get help. Her mother among them. Julianne was the only one who walked. The next afternoon, she heard voices. She assumed they were hallucinations. She had been hearing things for days. Phantom sounds, phantom words in the humid air. But these grew louder. Closer. 3 men emerged from the tree line and stopped dead. They were lumberjacks returning to their camp. They stared at the figure on their platform, a gaunt, sunburned, insect-ravaged teenage girl in a torn cotton dress, blonde hair matted with dirt and blood, one eye still half swollen shut. She spoke to them in Spanish. She told them her name. She told them she had fallen from the sky. They fed her carefully, dressed her wounds, and loaded her into the wooden boat. 7 hours downriver by canoe to a lumber station. From there, a local pilot flew her 15 minutes to a hospital in Pucallpa. 11 days after Lanza Flight 508 broke apart over the Amazon, Julianne Coep walked back into the world. Julianne Coep survived a 2-mile fall from the sky in 11 days alone in one of the most unforgiving ecosystems on Earth. If that story doesn't make you believe in the stubbornness of the human will, nothing will. Subscribe, because the jungle has more stories buried under its canopy than you think. Her father was waiting at the hospital. He had been told there were no survivors. From her hospital bed, Julianne gave rescuers the information they needed to locate the crash site. On January 12, 1972, they found her mother's body in the jungle. Maria Coep had survived the initial crash. She had died waiting for help that never came. Julianne returned to Germany. She studied biology. She earned her doctorate. She went back to Peru to study bats, the creatures of the jungle she had once feared in the dark. She married a fellow scientist. She took over Pandwana, the research station her parents had built. The jungle that nearly killed her became her life's work. In 1998, she returned to the crash site with filmmaker Werner Herzog, a man who had been booked on that same flight and survived only because his plans changed at the last minute. She sat in seat 19F again, on a plane flying the same route. She said it was a kind of therapy. When asked why she survived and 91 others did not, Julianne gave the same answer every time. The thought, why was I the only survivor, haunts me. It always will. Cell 19F is just a seat number. But somewhere in the Peruvian Amazon, the canopy still grows over the place where a 17-year-old girl opened her eyes on Christmas morning, stood up, and walked.